Hi, I'm John Hart. Welcome back to Mr. America Hart. All right, so today I'm giving you a routine. Let's say you only have a set of 20-pound dumbbells and you want to have a super high intensity training routine, right? I'm going to give you that routine so you can build a lot of muscle with that. How about no, I'm not doing it, okay? I don't know. In the comment section, guys, in the comment section of some of my videos, it amazes me every once in a while. I get these questions about, creating high-intensity routines for people using a dumbbell or a band or a set of bands. And I'm sorry. I just don't do that. So actually, today, let's just take all of that and say no, just no. But today, I'm going over the top 10 most amazing pieces of equipment, bodybuilding equipment, exercise equipment, that we've ever seen. I'm going to say of all time, ever created, and wherever possible, I'm going to give you a brand name that particularly, this is all my opinion, but I've used and particularly liked a lot. Okay, so I'm going to count them down from 10 down to 1. Okay, so number 10, I have the standard 45-degree leg press. Now here's the thing. Prior to the existence, I know a bunch of you guys are going, psh, John, every gym has one of those. Yes, they do. And prior to that, if you go back to the 80s and beyond the 80s, prior to that, the 45-degree leg press was not common. The vertical leg press, where you laid on your back and did vertical leg presses, that was it. That was the standard of the day. That's what was used in almost every gym around the country, around the world. Hardcore gyms I'm talking about, right? Where you had, bodybuilders, where you had weightlifters. They used a vertical leg press. So at one point in time, somebody, probably more than a few somebodies, stroked out on those vertical leg presses, little blood pressure issues, right? Somebody had high blood pressure, got themselves on that piece of equipment, it would shoot that blood pressure way high. The 45-degree leg press, however, not quite as upside down. So a little bit easier on the blood pressure, which was good. But that 45-degree angle, man, oh man, everybody and their grandmother fell in love with that piece of equipment. And man, did it look pretty cool to be able to push a lot of weight on that machine. I'm giving that a number 10 on this list because it really changed how gyms were set up, and it changed even in the biggest gym in the world, Gold's Gym, the mecca of bodybuilding in Venice, California. To this day, that 45-degree leg press in the back of the first room, and you all know which one I'm talking about if you've ever been to Gold's Gym in Venice, that 45-degree leg press, at one point they tried to remove it and put some new equipment in there. And man, the uproar, wow. I'm talking about professional and amateur bodybuilders alike. They went off about do not remove that leg press. And yes, my personal preference over the years is that one in particular that you find at Gold's Gym, the original one that was there for decades, the Flex Fitness leg press. It was just right. But nevertheless, any 45-degree one will do. All right, let's move on. Number 9, I have the fly machine and reverse fly that you can turn around. And I got to tell you, originally, whoever created this machine where you can do chest flies as well as turning around and adjust the handles and doing rear delt flies, they, killed two birds with one stone right there. Obviously, this is also a standard in the gyms today. So if you've been to any gym, it could be a hardcore gym, it could be a simple LA Fitness, 24-hour fitness, they have them as well. That one creation, that one piece of equipment, man, it has a great feel to it too. It's also hard to mess up. So if there's some good adjustable handles on there, that's great as well. But being able to train your chest facing one way and then facing in and training your rear delts and pulling in the opposite direction, it's a great piece of equipment. And in that one instance, over the years, boy, I can't name you an exact piece or brand name. There have been so many that have been very, very good. So very few are bad. Let's put it that way. Okay, so I see that one as a can't miss. All right, so that's number 9. Changed everything, by the way. People who couldn't do dumbbell flies for their chest, for example, with dumbbells, they got the machine now. People who couldn't do the original pec deck with the bent arm, it hurt their shoulders. Now they could do it with the handles way out like this. People that couldn't do bent over dumbbell lateral raises for their rear delts, got nothing out of it, didn't feel it. Now they had the machine, gives a better feel on the posterior deltoid. Really, really good. Okay, so number 8. Number 8, I have the seated leg curl. Not the laying down on your stomach leg curl, not the single leg curl, but the seated leg curl. And in particular, I like the Life Fitness seated leg curl, the kind that has the anchor that holds your thigh down, the adjustable. You pull the key and drop it down to your lower thigh. That seated leg curl is special. And in one of the gyms where I'm at right now, we have one of those, the original Life Fitness seated leg curl. And man, oh man, what a feel you get on those hamstrings. It isolates them really well. You can choose to do them 2 legs at a time or alternating right, left, holding one leg up in the air. Just an awesome piece of equipment and a great, great game changer in the gym. So people who used to do prone or lying down on their belly leg curls, which that's still around, and almost every gym has one of those. But people who used to do that exercise, for a lot of them, it hurt their lower backs because they'd pull, they'd arch with their lower backs so hard, and it would be hard to get their hamstrings, get a good hit on their hamstrings. So the seated leg curl, it was a game changer. Everything changed with that seated leg curl. Okay, I have this 1098. I have number 7 as the standing calf raise machine. I'm talking about a simple design standing calf raise machine with either the selectorized stack, you know, the key, right? With the stack of plates in front of you. In front of you. I don't mean off to the side. I don't mean a calf machine where it's, 14 different cables and you have this huge stack off the side or small stack and it looks really pretty and complex. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a standard calf machine where prior to the existence of a good calf machine, prior to that, guys used to put a barbell across the back of their neck and do calf raises on a calf block. I mean, kind of dangerous, So that standing calf machine was another game changer. This one goes back a little further, of course. Back in the 50s and 60s, they created that calf machine, 1960, I believe, 60s, was the first real standing calf machine. And it was plate loaded. So plate loaded ones are just fine to this day. They exist and they're great. Gotta have a wide foot base though. That is standard. Standard excellence, I should say. If you are using one of those machines and it has that slanted foot plate like this with the diamond studded diamond plate, metal right there, man, just what a fail. So for all of you standing calf machine designers out there or manufacturers, I got to tell you something. It just sucks when I see one of those machines and you have that diamond plated metal on there, no non-skid. It's by far and away the best when you have that sandpapery non-skid on there that anybody can, replace the tape once in a while, right? Replace the tape. Just use the non-skid. Forget about the diamond plate. Make it smooth metal. So that's the way they were originally made. They're great that way. And just a flat block at the bottom, but a wide one for bigger feet. There you have it. Okay, I have bigger feet. So of course, I don't want my toes hanging off the front end of it when the balls of my toes are on the block. And you shouldn't want that either. So the standing calf machine I had as number 7, okay? Number 6, I'm coming up on some good ones right here. So this is where we get a little bit, I'm pulling my favorites out here now. The selectorized lateral raise machine for the caps of the shoulders, for the medial head of the shoulders. That lateral raise machine specifically, I like the hammer strength selectorized lateral raise machine. There's something about that angle. There's something about being able to hold on to the handles and the pads that they use right up against the sides of those elbows to raise that out man, it is another game changer. It hits those delts hard, and almost everybody gets a great feel in their shoulders. You don't have to think too much about it. As opposed to prior to that, all we had were dumbbell lateral raises and cables, So the lateral raise machines, I'm talking about the ones that load at the elbow. Nautilus originally had a lateral raise machine that had handles way out here with pads that were sitting on the wrist. To me, that was a fail, because the obvious choice is to load it at the elbow, eliminate the forearm entirely. So that was number 6 on my personal list, specifically that hammer strength selectorized. That's, again, with the weight stack right in front of you, not off to the side, but in front of you. Just that one version, I think, is the best of all time. But you guys may have a different idea. Hey, down below, feel free to comment on some of these videos. And this one in particular, if you have some of these choices that I'm making, some of these videos. If you have any personal bests or favorites that you like, go right ahead and hit it in the comments section. I read all those comments. All right. Number 5, I have the Nautilus, the original Nautilus multi-exercise machine. What was this thing? Look at this thing. I mean, it looked weird in the gym. Admittedly, a lot of people didn't even know what it was for. You have 3 steps at the bottom, right? 3 soft steps. You have this setup where you have a big, huge weight stack. You have an obvious chin-up bar on top. And then you have dip bars that with these hard to move handles on the bottom. Well, yeah, they were hard to move. That's true. But I have to say, once you knew how to adjust the thing, it was an amazing piece of equipment. Why? Listen to the exercises you could do on this thing. You could do chin-ups. With the stair step, you could step up and do negative chin-ups. Or you could just do chin-ups, weighted chin-ups even, by putting the hip belt around your hip and attaching it to that strong bar down below, the weighted bar that hooked up to the weight stack. So you could do chin-ups, boom, 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 like this. You could do dips, though obviously with those dip bars sticking out at you, and not just body weight dips, but again, put that belt around your waist, you're doing weighted dips with the weight stack. It was amazing. The angle was great too. It was easier on the shoulders than what regular weighted dips these days are like. Donkey calf raises. Wow, let me tell you something. Donkey calf raises. Doing them on that, especially barefoot, I have to tell you, that pad was so perfect. It wasn't too hard, wasn't too soft. It was just right for the feet. I could do some great calf raises on it, and being slightly bent over at the hip with your arms hanging over that bar in the back, it gave your calves an added stretch that made the movement far superior to standing calf raises. And so either, you know how much I really like doing donkey calf raises with the body, somebody sitting up on the hips and then added weight around the waist. I love those. However, that one machine, if I had to choose, I would take that any day of the week for calf raises. And lastly, they could do wrist curls on the end. There was an actual little bar attachment that attached to that lever arm that you can just simply load up the weight, put a bench right there, sit on the end of the bench, and pull it right off the end of your knees. Wrist curls, reverse wrist curls. So multi exercises done on that one machine. It was an awesome piece of equipment. So I have that as my number 5. Number 4, my reverse hyperextension machine. Now look, Louis Simmons of Westside Barbell invented that thing, I mean, over 30, 35 years ago. The man broke his back a couple times. And up until that time, we only had the normal, regular hyperextension bench where you lift and lower your upper body, and with your feet anchored behind you. And your body is, you're face down towards the ground horizontally. Well, as good as that one exercise had been up until that point in kind of isolating the lumbar, the lower back area, the hamstring, the glutes, the reverse hyper, when Louis came up with this, in one of his physical therapy sessions, they put him on a high bench and had him lift his legs up and down, the opposite of the regular hyperextension. He was doing reverse hypers. He walked out of there that day and he came up with the idea for the reverse hyperextension bench, decided to make one himself, and changed the face of exercise in general, rehabbing lower backs. I mean, this has got to be one of the best pieces of equipment ever for the lower back, decompressing the spine, strengthening the erectors, the glutes, the hamstrings. Yes, it's a little bit ballistic. However, you can choose to do it ballistically or you can do it slower, either way. But it's an amazing piece of equipment, and he had it right. He really did. You could do them 2 legs at a time or 1 leg at a time. That, to me, you guys know, in my home gym, I invested in a reverse hyper myself, and I have one right here, the Rogue Z reverse hyper, and it's awesome. It's a game changer. When you have one of those, some guys out there, some girls out there, you know, when you feel that lower back maybe doesn't feel right a little bit once in a while, what do? You jump on your reverse hyper, you knock out a couple sets of 20, you pump some blood through that thing, and man, it's almost like it adjusts your lower back, puts things right where it belongs. Definitely gets blood flow through there. And if you all know anything about the discs between your, the discs between the vertebrae and your spine, those discs, they need blood flow. They don't have, veins and arteries supplying blood to them. So imbibation, movement of the vertebrae like this or sideways, but movement causes what's called imbibation. Blood flows in, blood flows out with movement. That reverse hyper, proven to cause the kind of movement that we want. Not too much, not too little, just right. And strengthens all of the structure around the lower back, the glutes and the hamstrings, that whole connection. So the reverse hyper, to me, was a real game changer, saved many lower backs over the years. And to me, I advise, I bought one for insurance for my family, for their lower back insurance. So that's my number 4. My number 3 is the DY Pulldown. DY Pulldown? DY, Dorian Yates Pulldown. Yes, this pulldown was created by Hammer Strength, and it was designed for Dorian Yates. Dorian Yates, 6-time Mr. Olympia, he liked to do pull-downs with an undergrip like this, or chin-ups with an undergrip, either way, but pull-downs mainly with an undergrip with a straight bar. This one machine, Hammer Strength created, and I don't mean the hammer high pull with the grip like this. I don't mean that one. This one in particular, you'll see the pictures I'm putting up for you, you have an undergrip like this. If you have one of those machines in your gym, and I've been to LA fitnesses, 24-hour fitnesses around the country where they have the hammer high pull like this, and then they also happen to have the DY pull down like this. You will find everybody wanting to get on that DY pull down. Why? Because they end up inevitably doing pull downs like this, but they also sit sideways and grab that one arm and they pull it down and they find it isolates their lat really, really well. So for one exercise or the other, but I'm giving you the derivative that they've come up with, this sideways, pull down one arm at a time. I'm not suggesting it for that. I'm saying use it the way it was meant to be used, with an undergrip, and just like Dorian, there's something really special about that angle of the pull down on that Hammer Strength DY pull down. That angle is perfect. When you get the seat set just right, your hand, when you go up to the top, does not go directly overhead. It goes a few degrees forward. And man, when you pull from that angle and pull those handles all the way in, wow, it just hits those lats. I don't know, man. There's not too many pieces of equipment out there that, actually hit a muscle that it's designed to so efficiently. Well, I've named a couple on this list already, but that one in particular for the back muscles, amazing. And then brings me to my number 2. We're counting down. We're getting down there now. My number 2, also from Hammer Strength, the Hammer Strength Incline Chest Press. Man, oh man. For any of y'all who have been on one of those, and if you've been in any gym USA, it seems as if it's a standard piece of equipment right now around the whole world. So a really great gym has a Hammer Strength Incline bench press. And that bench press machine, when it first came on out, wow, game changer, game changer. You no longer needed to do incline barbell presses. You no longer needed to struggle kicking up dumbbells to do incline dumbbell presses. You had your hammer strength incline press. And man, not only was it a great angle, but the handles come together as you press them out. So that contraction, in that chest was just so much harder, so much better for development. So hammer strength incline presses, I mean, used universally by amateurs, by raw beginners in the gym, by professional bodybuilders, by athletes all around the world. It's got to be, and especially because the seat adjusts way high, way low, the height adjustment is very, very good, especially for extra tall people. They really, really enjoy this exercise. So that's my number 2. Now, can you guess what my number 1 is? Out of all time, drum roll. Drum roll, please. Yeah, I hear the drums. Okay, my drum roll has stopped. Stop the drum roll. My number 1 of all time would happen to be the Nautilus pullover machine, the original big blue machine, the original, they used to call it the monster, the blue monster, the Nautilus pullover machine with the big Nautilus cams on each side of it. That machine was precise, scientifically precise. It was made and built according to the strength curve of your muscles as you go from a full pullover position all the way around. I mean, it exercised the muscles through such a humongous range of motion for your lats mainly, but it also exercised part of your chest, your triceps, your rear delts. I mean, everything in your torso, your abdomen also got hit hard. All of it. But I don't want to get too far off the trail for your lats specifically. Wow, what a piece of equipment. If you can get yourself into a gym and find that one piece of equipment, very rare, very rare. Right here in Texas, there's a gym local to me that has one. Oh boy, it's the only reason I go there, to use that one piece of equipment. It's amazing. So the Nautilus pullover machine, the original Big Blue machine, because Arthur Jones was into doing pre-exhaust. Pre-exhaust meant you were going to do your best to isolate a muscle with an isolation exercise, and he considered that pullover machine to isolate your lats without using your biceps. So he would have the pullover machine, and here's a really good picture of the pullover machine with, notice in front of it, what's up above in front, a pull-down cable. A pull-down right in front of it. So you could go directly from those pullovers and then release your arms from the pullover machine and quickly, without any rest, grab that pull down in front of you and start pulling with everything you got. Whatever was left in those lats, your biceps would be fresh and it would push your lats further than they can go with just doing the pullover. So if you can get you that machine, that pre-exhaust machine going from the pullover to the pull down, that was my number 1. But the pullover by itself, it's pretty rare to find the pre-exhaust machine. But if you can't, the Nautilus pullover all by itself still stands head and shoulders above the rest because it was so precise. It wasn't just some random pulleys on each side that were just smooth. As a matter of fact, they weren't smooth. That pullover machine, if you see in these pictures, it used a motorcycle chain back then. Arthur Jones didn't use smooth cables like they do today. He used a motorcycle chain of all things, with sprockets. It was terrible. I mean, it was not smooth, but still, it was head and shoulders above all other machines created. So precise, such a great hit. And with the foot catch too. So you would never go too far without hurting, and you wouldn't hurt yourself. You could catch the pullover machine with your feet to remove your arms before it would go too far back. So you never hurt your shoulders. Anyway, that's my number 1. So thank you for joining me today on my nice list of 10 of the best pieces of equipment ever created, right? Exercise machines, not equipment, but machines ever created, all right? That have changed the whole scope, the landscape of all gyms across the country, around the world. When Arthur Jones did that with the pullover machine back in the early 70s, every gym around the country, every gym around the world had to have one of those. And they were everywhere. Eventually it fell out of favor because the company changed hands, the design changed, and it turned to garbage. That's all. The wrong kind of pull. So, all right, thank you for stopping by today. Hey, listen, before you go, if you're liking the videos that I'm doing, off to my left, you're going to find this disc popping up right about now. That is the subscribe button for my channel. Please give it a tap and let YouTube know that you like my videos, and they will let you know the next time I have a really good one pop up. Down below on your left, you're going to see a thumbs up button right there. Look at that thumb. Give that thing a tap, won't you? Turn it blue. It lets the YouTube algorithm know how much you're liking my videos, and it really helps my channel out a lot, and I appreciate you for it. Thank you, and I will see you soon from my heart to you, John.